Hello guys, this is the review video of future tenses. As I explained to you in our previous class, we have to notice the differences on future will, future going to, and the structure of future continuous and future perfect. So now we will have a kind of review so that you have a clearer idea on the topic and you can use these when you are going to study. Right, so let's go from the very beginning. So future will, key points and differences. As you know, we use future will for predictions, but when we don't have an evidence. If we have an evidence, then we use future going to. We also use future will for decisions made at the moment and when you make overs as well. And obviously when we make promises, when we promise something to someone. So we can use future will for predictions. For example, I think people will live a lot more in the future. Decision making. Imagine you are a cafe and then you say, I'll have an espresso, please. And promises, you say, I promise I'll help you with the homework. So yeah, now future going to, key points and differences. As I told you, future going to is based on evidence and future will is not. There is no evidence. And in here is when you have an ambition, when you have a plan, or when you have an intention. So taking into account those rules, then you could use the correct tense. As we can see here, for predictions based on evidence, as you can see right here, it's going to rain because you can see the sky and it's this way. And for example, plans and ambitions. I am going to buy a house, or I am going to have a family. And now we have the key explanation of the two tenses, which is future continuous and future perfect. As you can see here, we use will be ing. Check these ideas. First of all, we use the future continuous for exact times in the future, for things definitely happening in the future as part of a routine, and for assumptions. And in here we have the examples. For example, tomorrow at 6 a.m. I will be having breakfast because you know for sure that will be happening. Actions definitely happening. For example, I will be welcoming the customers as the shop opens because it's what you do every day and tomorrow that will happen for sure. And for assumptions, you don't see the kids at home, so you see they will be playing because that's what they do. Great. And future perfects. As you know, you've got to use will have past participle verbs. Remember, it's always will have. How do you use it? Well, for finished actions in the future. That's really important. And you use some expressions. For example, by the end of the week, I will have finished my projects. Or in a couple of weeks, I will have finished my projects. As you know, with these expressions, you have to be really careful. You have to be really careful with these expressions because they are used with the simple present and then you use the future perfect. And as a way to conclude this video, remember, it's necessary to think of the rules. You need to take into account the rules to decide which tense is the best to use. And you need to think of the expressions. The expressions tell you which tense is the correct one as well. And finally, you need to pay attention to the context. If you pay attention to the context, then you can decide which tense is better. Recommendation: you can use the links I provided you with last lesson. Try to check them, and yeah, and thanks. If you have any questions, please contact me on here. I will be happy to give you an answer. And that's it. Thank you. See you next class.